Good evening, everyone. My name is Chelsea Smith, and the agency I chose to report on is the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, which is located in Washington, D.C. The museum opened in 1993 during the Clinton administration. In fact, this is a picture of President Clinton, Holocaust survivor and author Elie Wiesel, and Jewish philanthropist Harvey Meyerhoff lighting the eternal flame at the museum's grand opening in April of 1993. The museum is an independent establishment of the United States government, operating as a public-private partnership that receives some federal funding to support operations of the museum building. The United States Holocaust Memorial Museum is America's national institution for the documentation, study, and interpretation of Holocaust history, and serves as this country's memorial to the millions of people murdered during the Holocaust. The museum's primary mission is to advance and disseminate knowledge about this unprecedented tragedy, to preserve the memory of those who have suffered, and to encourage its visitors to reflect upon the moral and spiritual questions raised by the events of the Holocaust, as well as their own responsibilities as citizens of a democracy. Since 1993, the museum has had 45 million visitors, including 3,500 foreign officials from more than 132 countries. Currently, 24% of the museum's demographic is school-age children, and 90% of visitors to the museum are non-Jewish. U.S. Holocaust Memorial Council, established by Congress in 1980, became the governing board of trustees for the museum when it opened in 1993. The current leaders of the board of trustees are Chairman Howard Lorber on the left, Vice Chairman Alan Holt in the middle, and Director Sarah Bloomfield on the right. Leaders of the board are elected by votes from other board members. The board consists of 5 members from the Senate and 5 members from the House, who are reappointed each year, along with 55 members appointed by the President, which serve 5-year terms. There are also 3 ex officio members from the Departments of Education, Interior, and the State. The board meets twice a year, but there is a smaller executive committee which acts on behalf of the board in between these meetings, and they meet 4 times a year. The appearance of the museum's website is clean and professional. The site is packed full of information, yet does not appear cluttered. The tone of the site is somber and reflective, which, given the nature of the content, is completely appropriate. The color scheme enhances the somberness of the site. It's mostly gray with hints of black, white, and orange. In 2018, 19.5 million people from 238 countries visited the museum website, which reinforces the notion that the site is pleasing to look at and easy to navigate and use. There is a very detailed master menu in the upper left corner containing 9 broad categories: visit the museum, exhibitions, learn, teach, collections, academic research, remember survivors and victims, genocide prevention, and anti-Semitism and Holocaust denial. These 9 sections are further divided into a multitude of subcategories, notable ones being plan your visit, current museum exhibitions, learn about the Holocaust, Holocaust teaching materials by topic, museum collection highlights, and survivor reflections and testimonies. The categories I just listed are only a small fraction of the content that's available on the website. When I say that this is a comprehensive source, I could literally present for the entire class period and not make a dent in the amount of content that's on this website. If you can't find what you're looking for from the topic headings on the left, you can type your search term into the search bar at the top right corner. The search engine will scour the entire website for your term. The menu bar across the top center of the page is divided into 3 parts. Part 1, learn about the Holocaust, where users can access a Holocaust encyclopedia with over 850 articles spanning 19 languages. And in parentheses in my notes, I have that 15 million people from around the world used the website's Holocaust Encyclopedia in 2018. The Learn section also has interviews with expert historians, virtual exhibit tours, and various educational resources for students and teachers. Part 2, remember survivors and victims, where users have access to oral and written histories of survivors, a database of survivors and victims, a database of 600 virtual prisoner ID cards with biographies, and much more. Part 3, confront genocide and anti-Semitism, consists of tips to help identify and combat anti-Semitism, how to identify modern anti-Semitism today, lesson plans for teaching about the Holocaust and anti-Semitism, and much more. The next slide is a screenshot showcasing some of the popular articles available within the website's Holocaust Encyclopedia. Popular articles include Introduction to the Holocaust, Nazi Propaganda, Aftermath of the Holocaust, Anti-Semitism, Women during the Holocaust, and the United States during the Holocaust. USHMM.org also offers interactive online exhibits, and here are 3 examples of the types of exhibits you might see. We've got Americans in the Holocaust on the left, Collaboration and Complicity in the Holocaust in the middle, and The Power of Nazi Propaganda on the right. The next slide is a gallery of some of the artifacts included in the digital exhibit on Nazi propaganda. These include propaganda posters, anti-Semitic newspapers, anti-Semitic children's books, and shots from propaganda films. As you can see on the right here, you can filter your search results to look for artifacts in a specific format. Currency of content. Museum exhibits, programs, and activities are listed from present day through July 2020 on the website event calendar, and despite the museum's closure until further notice due to the coronavirus. Artifacts in the museum's online collection span from the 15th century to the year 2020. And the last press release available on the museum website is from March 11th, 2020, which is right around the time that my entire library system closed to the public, so I imagine the case is similar for the museum. Finally, I want to talk about my favorite features on the site. It was difficult to narrow my choices down, but I'm a huge fan of podcasts, and I found out that the museum has 3 podcasts titled 12 Years That Shook the World, the First Person Podcast, and Voices on Anti-Semitism. The First Person Podcast is my favorite because there's nothing quite as powerful and moving as hearing survivors tell their own first-person accounts from the Holocaust. This brings me to my second favorite website feature located in the Holocaust Encyclopedia, which is oral histories. These videos are very similar to the first-person podcast, except in shorter form. Survivors share small anecdotes of their Holocaust experiences. The examples on this slide are less graphic, but many of the stories are not for the faint of heart. Finally, I encourage anyone with questions about my project to contact me via email. I didn't include it on the slide, but you can also message me your questions in Canvas. The U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum is an agency that you simply have to experience for yourself. So I encourage all of you to explore the website for yourselves and definitely go visit the museum in person if you get the opportunity in the future. Of course, when we aren't in the middle of a pandemic. Thank you for your time. And last but not least, here's my works cited page. I got all of my sources from one place, so that was easy.